Welcome to the MTR Network. This is Shanna. I am here for another Supergirl Super Tuesday. I am here with the doctor,
Howdy.
and we are going to discuss Season 2, Episode 12, Luthors. So tell the folks how you feel.
Meh. It was the most, I thought a couple of episodes was disappointing. This was actually the most disappointing. And it's not season one disappointing, but it felt too much like a CW teen melodrama at sections as opposed to a CW comic show.
Okay. Even with the guy with the kryptonite in his chest about to blow up.
No, no, I
Didn't
said in
feel
sections.
I
I
was
said
like,
in sections. There were
okay.
sections that worked for me. Metallo, Hank Henshaw coming back, Cyborg Superman.
Okay.
And that trio of evil. The Lena pieces worked. Even the Kara pieces, working to exonerate her friend. That's true. That's 100% her. Their
Mm-hmm.
cheers bar moments are always great. But the melodrama between her and Mon El seemed to take a large portion of the episode, and that's what made it a meh episode to me.
Oh, see? Okay. So I think I am the opposite because that was where I was going to start because that was the stuff I liked. Um,
Oh my God, I would have thought you hated that part.
no, that was the stuff I like. Okay, so I thought the episode was pretty good. I thought it was kind of right in line with what they've been doing this season. I still have issues with how Kara talks to Jimmy.
Mm,
Um, so I have some issues with that. I liked I liked the stuff with Lena a lot. I just it I liked it, and it made me go, why did we just forget about Lena for like 7 episodes? Like, because I had
right.
literally forgotten about Lena until
I
that
hadn't.
preview last week. I was like, oh yeah, there's a whole other storyline going on with Lena. Like I had literally forgotten about her. So I was like, where's she been? Actually, the stuff that I didn't like was more visual stuff, which we'll get to specifics, but I was like, maybe they like spent too much in their budget last week on the white Martians and now they had to scale it back a little bit this week because I was like, ooh, some of these graphics and whatnot are just not hitting for me. But yeah, okay, so let's start with the Kara and Monel stuff.
Yeah.
So here's my thing about that. I was like, I think Chris Wood has a different writer from everybody else because
Yes.
he's so funny and fun, and I love like the phrasing that he uses and all that kind of stuff. So I really liked all of those scenes because I just like his character a lot.
No, I like his character. He's written true to form. And remember, I've been kind of like, okay, they're cute together. This could work. Until Kara opened her mouth. And then I'm like, oh, God, girl, stop talking. And then the whole high school crap with Eve, like, oh, so how's you guys going? And Eve is looking at her like, I may be blonde, but I'm not stupid. I know what you're asking. He's interested in you. Y'all need to work that out.
Yeah, that part I didn't love, but I kind like I liked Eve. Like
Oh,
maybe
yes.
it's that maybe it's I've just tuned out Kara so much. Maybe it's that because I was
She
like,
doesn't look
oh
like wait, she doesn't look like anything to you?
yeah, because I really liked Eve in that scene. Eve was like, look, I'm a grown woman. This man spent our whole day talking about you. So yeah, I didn't go out on another date with him. Like moving right along. And then like Monel, when he's just like when she was like just beating stuff up, just being all extra emo Kara. And he like walked in and he's like, oh, is there technique? Hiya. Like he's like kicking. I was like, oh my God, he's so cute. And then, and then she does her like Kara word vomit thing. And like, was all like, and I asked even, he was like, wait, he's like, I don't know how everything works, but why would you be asking her about me unless you cared about me? Like, and then she like switched the subject because she's Kara. But like, I just really, I just liked it. He said, what he said, he's like, you're going to give those bad guys a swift kick in the caboose. Who says, who says that?
Mon El says that.
Like, he's the best. So yeah. I mean, I think it's just, I liked all those scenes because I like the people in them those scenes that weren't Kara. Yeah,
I
maybe
was just
that's
tired of.
it.
I was just. It's just regressive. It's like let the girl grow up.
I guess I don't think it's aggressive. I'm like, nope, sounds. I'm like, seems just like seems about right for Kara. I just have no faith in.
You really don't.
I don't. Cause moving on from that, cause all of those scenes almost always came on the heels of like a scene with Jimmy, and a scene with Jimmy telling her like, look, let me tell you why you're wrong. And it was really frustrating to me because okay, so first he's wrong in the sense that like everybody is wrong about Lena, but then in the end you kind of find out everybody's right about Lena.
Okay, I was gonna say, are they?
Yeah.
Are
But
they?
he's wrong in the same sense that everybody is wrong. Like everyone is assuming that Lena is a bad guy. Um so like him arguing with her like Lena's a bad guy, Lena's a bad guy, and you're sitting there like, well, maybe she's not. He's wrong in that sense. But the rest of the stuff that he was saying related to that, he was completely and totally right. About
Yes.
Kara not trusting him, about like how is it that you're gonna have so much faith in Lena and everything she says and does, but you can't have any faith in me and what I'm trying to do, like, and again, like he's like,
I almost cried. It was
yeah,
sad. I was
it
like,
it was
you are
really
being a
hard.
shit friend, Kara.
Yeah, she's being horrible. And the whole thing, like, I just want to protect you. And he's like, I don't need protecting. I'm showing you that I don't need protecting. What I need is for you to believe in me and for you to trust me. And like, and so like all of these scenes, the Eve scenes, the Mon El scenes are all happening on the heels of that. And, she's frustrated and annoyed with Jimmy. And then that's like manifesting in like all of her like immature stuff with Mon El, right?
Hmm.
And then what was the one that really got me? Um, it's he says something that I was just like, oh, when he's talking about Clark and Lex, and he's
Yes.
like, I was there for that. He was like, Clark and Lex used to be friends, and Clark wanted to believe that he could not go bad. And he's like, and I am telling you from experience. Like that, I think that is the thing too that was getting me, was I was just like, it's the same thing with him being guardian. He's like, I am telling you from experience. Like, this is not me, hating on her for no reason, and it's the same thing with him being guardian. He's like, I get that you're worried about me and you want to protect me, but like, do I not have any credit for being like in the game, like being like the superhero's best friend for like a decade? Like, dude,
You think
like,
I'm so stupid that I wouldn't have picked up on certain skills necessary to do this?
yeah, it's like, so yeah, it's so like, I was frustrated for him. And then what really got me is that at the end, when it comes out, or people still think that like Lena is the victim, and she's not a part of her mother's plan or whatever. um he comes and he apologizes to her.
And the way, you know what, I was hoping, and this goes back to the writers, I need Berlanti and crew to get them their writers together. I was expecting, sure, he's going to apologize for being wrong because he was wrong and he was riding hard like this is bullshit, but at least he was doing it based on experience and facts and
Mhm.
not feelings.
Mhm.
I was expecting her to come back like, and you know what? I was wrong for coming at you like that.
Mhm.
Instead, she turned it in TWW fashion about her like,
Like, can
I
we
just
just
want us
be
to be
friends?
friends.
Yeah.
Like, not until you apologize properly. Ho, what are you
Can't we
doing?
just watch movies and hang out and play games? Like, literally,
After
I
you
have in my
haven't been
notes.
right either. I'm sorry. After you admit you haven't been right either, you are a shit friend.
Thank you. I have in my notes, all caps. When is Kara going to apologize? This black man apologizes and she's still going to be snarky next week. I was like, what? I was like, this is what's going to happen. It's like, she's going to be like, yeah, you just be friends. And then, like, next week, he's going to talk about doing some Guardian stuff and she's going to be like, okay, like, it,
I think, and you know what? Maybe it was her interactions with, no, it was partly the way it was written. I was going to say maybe it was her interactions with James that made me not like any of her interactions with Mon El. I think I wouldn't have liked him, but I don't think I would have taken as much issue had she been a better individual in other parts. Like
yeah.
it wasn't inconceivable that people thought Lena did it. When you have video of her taking kryptonite and you're still like, she didn't do this. Yes, we find out later that it was doctored, and I get that. But when John is like giving you that, what is that rapper's name that we with the red solo cup that we all use nowadays as a gift? When he's
Oh,
making
yes.
that face, he makes that face at you. You need to stop and consider maybe I'm not right here.
Yeah, because that was what was getting me was I was just like, not like yes, it's really frustrating because I've seen this. It's not just on Supergirl. I feel like another show did this recently, and it really annoyed me. Where it was like the main character is like wrong about a lot of things, but then they're right about one thing, and so we're like, oh, at the end, everybody's just like, oh, I'm sorry, you were right, and I'm like, but they weren't right about the other five things. So I kind of need you to not let them off the hook because they were right about this one thing.
Right.
And again, like we know, even though Kara doesn't know, that she's wrong.
We don't
So,
know specifically what she's wrong about, but
yeah.
Lena is clearly playing chess.
Yeah. And Kara is forever playing checkers. She's playing fucking Candyland.
She's playing sorry.
Yeah, she's playing shoots and ladders. Like she's just whatever is the like most simple game that you can be playing. That's what Kara's playing. While like Lena's over here playing like chess, and she's a grandmaster. Like it's
Basically.
so frustrating. I couldn't believe she did not apologize to that black man. I was so annoyed. Um, it's like apologize to that black man. You better. Mm.
Get your life right, girl.
Okay. So Project MacGuffin is back.
Ma'am. Ma'am.
Project
Ma'am.
MacGuffin back. So yeah, so Project MacGuffin is back doing its thing. We get a little flashback to baby Lex Luthor with his cute curly hair. Who is that actor?
Oh
Let me
gosh,
look
that's
him
the one
up.
I didn't write down.
I was like, I don't like I don't know if they were this is me, I'm so horrible. This is gonna sound wrong. I don't know if they were just trying to be like he's extra evil or if he's like clearly supposed to
Oh,
have some sort of autism. I was like,
wow. So this young man's name is Aiden Fink. This is his first credit.
oh, cute. Good job, Aiden. He was
Yeah.
he was delightfully creepy with his cute curly hair and shark dead-eyed stare.
And then
Like,
Ian Butcher played Lionel Luthor.
oh, okay.
He was on an episode of Arrow, an episode of Almost Human.
Okay.
He was, oh, I knew his face from somewhere. He was one of the observers on Fringe.
Oh, okay. Which
And
makes
you
sense
know
with
what,
that bald head.
when he first came on the screen, I'm like, he looks like an observer, but I know that's not the guy that plays September. Who are you?
Uh So yeah, so they have a little flashback of Lionel Luthor bringing home Lena, and I immediately was like, "Is this Lionel's love child?" Because the way he walked that baby up in the house was like, "I told you I was bringing her home." He walked that baby up in the house just like Denzel Washington did in Fences. Tell tell me I'm wrong. Walk that baby right up in that house like, but of course I'm bringing my illicit love child into this house and you can't say anything about it. Like Lionel ain't shit. So when they confirmed it like 2 scenes later, I was like, I knew it. I knew it. Like,
But let me ask you, because until they opened that vault, I was like, is Lena, is Lena, is Lena pulling, I'm sorry, is Lillian pulling Lena's ear and lying just to get her to do what she wants her to do?
oh
Because
no.
I thought it was bullshit.
No, I got the vibe as soon as Lionel walked her up in the house. I was, and so when that's what made it so messed up was like when he walked her into that house, I was like, I think Lena is his love child. Like, because I was like, she's supposed to be adopted. But I was like, I think Lena is his love child. And then I was like, oh shit, if she's his love child, but she thinks she's
That's some
adopted,
Edward,
that means
that's some
she
Edward
never
Stark shit.
knew. Yeah, like
Yeah.
that means she never knew that that was her real father. Like, that's really messed up. Um, and then, and then Lex goes all like, "Hi," with his dead eyes. Want to play chess? And I was just like, he gonna eat that baby. That's how I felt. I was like, she's all sweet, like, yeah, like let's play chess. Like she might as well have had two front teeth missing, all innocent. And I was like, Lex Luthor is gonna eat that child.
For real.
I was just like, no. Uh, so she learns how to she's learning how to play chess, and that was like hint number one that more is happening.
That girl
um
already knew how to play chess.
yeah. Oh no, yeah, she sat down like, oh,
Checkmate
she,
next.
yeah, she cracked her knuckles like boom boom boom. Taking your pawn bishop to L5. I don't even know how to play chess, guys, as you can tell.
You said a pawn bishop. That was the
I,
indicator that you have no idea what you're talking
I
about.
saw Queen. I saw Queen of Catway. That's that's it. Like, I totally know how to play chess. Oh my god! One-off story. Um, a friend
Hold
of
on, hold on. Sorry, I didn't know if you could hear that in the background. I got a helicopter coming through, and I didn't know how loud it was.
no, it's fine. A friend of mine who is from Africa, African, but not from clearly not from Sudan. like, like met somebody like not too long after Queen of Catway came out, and the person was all like, "Oh, I just saw Queen of Catway," and she's all like, "Okay," and like they're like, "Oh, so like, do you know how to play chess?" Or you? And she's just like,
Nice.
"No, I don't." And like, but like the person kept at like they were at like a brunch or something like that, and the person kept asking, like kept being like, "Oh, so like in chess and da da da, Queen of Catway," she's like, "I'm not even from the same country." And not
Hate people so
every
much.
African person knows how to play chess because you saw Queen of Coward. It was really fun. I was just like, wow, wow. And I'm pretty sure, just so you guys know, I'm like, because I know we talk about make America great again. I'm pretty sure that person asking her that question was another person of color, which makes it worse. Like, you should really know better, ma'am. So, yeah, so present day Lena is like hanging out with her BFF Kara. Mind you, haven't seen Lena in weeks, but they're BFF. They're just hanging
They've been
out.
busy,
They're just
collecting
hanging out.
home
Yeah.
invasion.
Yeah, they're just hanging out, whatevs. Haven't seen you for weeks, but let's catch up, girl. Let's have drinks. And basically what's happening is that Lena's mom is finally on trial for helping with what was the other thing? What was the Medusa?
The Medusa.
Medusa, helping with Medusa, where she tried to wipe out all the aliens in National City. Just a Monday in National City. So
Which is
her,
interesting that she's going on trial for that, and I feel like there's more to it. There has to be more to it than that
hmm
in terms of them taking her to trial.
yeah, I
Like
was kind
theft
of
of
like, I don't
property,
even
government stuff.
understand. Yeah, but I was also like, I don't even understand. Like, isn't that just one of those things where you just put the person under the jail? Like, do we even have to do this?
Oh,
Like,
yes, we do. And you know why? Because of the president. Remember at the very beginning of the
oh yeah,
season?
yeah.
Yeah, so basically by, essentially providing aliens equal rights, any crimes against them get treated like crimes against humans.
Okay,
So no
yeah.
more the, black site,
Okay. I was
DEO
like,
black site.
I was like, we don't just lock them in the DEO. We don't just lock them in the particle accelerator. Like, okay. So she's going on trial. Lena is basically being vilified either way. Like, she's either being vilified as like this horrible girl who turned against her mother, or she's being vilified as like people still think she's somehow involved and that she is the one who got away with it.
Yeah.
Um, so Kara is, like the only one who's like, like, I believe in you, like we're friends and I think you're great and all this other stuff. Can't believe in Jimmy though. Still just out here being
You know
snarky as
why?
hell to
You know
Jimmy.
why? You know why?
So then the thing that gets me about this whole entire trial, like I'm like, I guess if we're doing the due process thing, we're doing the due process thing. You see somebody like sneak into Metallo's uh, cell or whatever, like, or like give him something, like the guard passes off something to him, and you're like, okay, but then the next day you see him testifying in court at Lillian's trial, and I was like, why do we let the zombie supervillain who doesn't really have a heart testify?
There's that, but then there's a suspension of disbelief that, I guess National City is a special kind of jail because not only was it empty as hell, unlike other jails in the country, your mail doesn't get searched.
Yes. Yes. So it was just like, well, I figured that whoever gave him that was like a bought off corrections officer. But at the same time, I was just like, I don't understand how
But you
he's
have,
a zombie, right? Like, cause like they're literally in court and the lawyer is asking him like, so when Lillian Luthor experimented on you and brought you back to life, I'm like, oh, so we know he's a zombie and we're not,
well,
nobody's batting an eyelash at the zombie. Okay.
well, to be fair, I
Like,
just read a story last year about a young man who walked around with a heart pump and no heart for what was it, 2 years before he got a transplant?
oh,
So let's suspend the disbelief in that they said something more portable because his was literally like this metal backpack that he carried around on his back.
okay.
Let's suspend disbelief that in this, we're suspending a shit ton of disbelief this episode, but let's suspend disbelief that they considered that they set something up similar for him. But do you know how many people you have to pay off to not search the mail? So you've got the person delivering it to the prison, you've got the intake person who's searching it. You got to make sure it gets into that person's hands, that it gets delivered on the day that that person's working, and then it gets handed off to the bottom. How many people? There's a lot of people involved in this process
I just,
for him to get a hold of this.
I mean, I, whenever it comes to stuff like being snuck into a jail, I'm just like, whatever, that sounds about right, because I just imagine people are horrible and you can, if you have enough money, you can buy off enough people. Like, that's just how I look at it. Like, I'm just like,
Fair
oh, and it's just
enough.
you bought off enough people to get whatever you need to get. I mean, people in jail, like, I'm always amazed at like what they managed to get a hold of.
And
Like,
the locations they're willing to use to smuggle that stuff in.
yeah, exactly. Everybody go watch The Night of, because
I'm not.
wow,
I am not built for jail.
I'm so not built for jail. I'm not putting nothing in my butt. I'm not putting nothing anybody had in their butt in my mouth. I'm not built for jail at all.
those or not. I'm not putting in into. Nope.
No, none of
Nope.
it. None of it. Can't be me. Not the sneaking fake kryptonite. None of it. None of it.
The moral of the story, ladies and gentlemen, the hosts of the Supergirl podcast are not ride or die.
No.
So
Yeah,
don't
dude.
come to us
I
asking for
won't be
that.
committing no crimes. Just so you know. So so somebody snuck him some what seems like kryptonite, what actually turns out to be basically fake made up kryptonite that actually
Great value
decays. Yeah,
kryptonite.
great value kryptonite that actually like decays and kills you. Um, so he breaks Lillian out of jail. Well, he breaks her out of the courtroom by attacking everybody. Supergirl. By the way, I know it's like so comic booky and it kind of has to happen, but now whenever Kara like rips her like shirt open, it's
Does
just
it seem
so
like she's trying to press
cheesy.
her boobs for
Yeah, she's like like and her
my
like
boobs?
yeah, she's like Supergirl, and then also I'm like I really hope she has started like doing some sort of Velcro shirt, um, where
I
like
know
it
the
looks like
ones.
buttons from the outside, but it's actually Velcro because
Or the buttons that snap. Remember
yeah,
when we
or
were little, the
snaps.
buttons that snap
Yeah,
closed?
I need snaps or Velcro because like just the thought of her, it's like friggin' Matt Murdock throwing his like blind cane every single time he goes to fight bad guys. I'm just like, are people just finding these like handicap canes like in alleys? I don't understand. Like, please stop. Um, so she ends up having to let Lillian get away because like Metallo almost drops a crane on a bunch of people. Um, so that scene, because my issue was with the visuals. That scene was pretty good in terms of the special effects.
Mhm.
I like that one. Metallo still looks kind of weird to me with the green blast coming out of the middle of his chest. It just feels like the same thing. You know how we were talking about like Kara like pushing her chest forward? It feels like the same thing. He's like, like,
You
mm.
are killing me with that sound effect.
It's like, because you can imagine what I'm doing right now. I'm like,
Yes.
it's like I feel like his pecs should be like dancing while he's doing.
Oh my God.
So that just that just gets me every single so Kara like lets Lillian gets away, and then according to you, she stands there and smiles.
Just like, yeah, I'm getting big ups. I'm like, man, we got work to do. What are you doing? The bad guys are getting away.
And she's all upset. She's like, I should. She's immediately back at the DO. She's like, I should have let those people die. It's like, my God, Kara.
Like, no, Car, you should not have let those people die.
Like it's not always an either or. I felt like maybe there could have been something done. I just don't know what. We just gotta. I think she needs like to talk to Barry about superheroing in terms of like making hard decisions. I think Barry is good at that. Like, these two options are not that great. What do I do? How do I come up with something different? Like, but also he's a scientist, so there's that. She's just a writer. So maybe that's it. What so then so Lillian breaks out. Everybody again just like immediately starts blaming Lena. They're like, oh, her mom is playing and she probably a part of it and all this other stuff. And then like video gets released of Lena stealing the kryptonite that Metallo got. So like, everybody's like, Lena is in, like, she's whatever. And then Jimmy, what was the phrase he used? We're
Uh,
crashing the headline or something.
oh yeah, Snapper. I think it
Yeah.
was something like, basically,
Yeah.
yeah, something to that extent.
Like, so basically they're throwing out everything that they had planned for the issue, and they're doing a whole issue about Lena breaking her mom out of jail.
Yeah.
Um, and Kara is just like, this will not stand. I will not let you do this to my friend. And it's like,
Once it's out there, you can't take it back. And it's like,
she's like,
welcome
people
to.
still think Macaulay Culkin is dead. And I have in my notes, no one thinks Macaulay Culkin is dead. We all know he's alive.
Wait, Macaulay Culkin, what?
Yeah, I was like, I'm pretty sure we all know
Oh,
Macaulay Culkin
yeah.
is alive.
James says that they're crashing
Yes.
they're crashing the front page because of the news story.
Yeah. So so she's all like losing her mind about like how dare you how dare you people who run a publication run say that Lena Luthor might be evil even though there is video proof of and I know that it turns out that the video proof is wrong, but you're telling me that not every single newspaper, if something like that came out, like that's it would be on Facebook and Twitter within an hour, let alone like, of course they have to write an article about it. Like, I
Let's take
get
a
that that's your friend, but of course they have to write an article about it.
Oh no, let's take it one step further. Because me, I would have been like, let me have your ear for a minute. Do you see this organizational chart? Do you see where I am on this organizational chart? And do you see where you are all the way at the bottom in the footer section of said organizational chart? Girl, if you don't go to work and get out my face,
Exactly. I was
stop
just
telling
like,
me how to
I
run my
don't
own.
understand why you think that they're supposed to be like, oh no, Lena is Kara's friend. Like, of course we
It's a
cannot run this.
facto.
Yeah, of course we cannot run this headline that every single other publication is gonna run. Like, girl, sit down. Go sit somewhere. Like, come on. I was so annoyed. I was like, girl, they're not changing their headlines for you. Um, yeah. So that happens. That's the thing that happens. She's like, everyone needs to just slow down. And then Lena gets arrested, and taken to this same exact jail, this same exact empty
The
jail.
eerily quiet and empty jail.
Yeah. No,
I
no
think it's even
criminals.
the same cell
Yeah, I was like the
that
same exact cell
in.
that Metallo was in. And they go to, and she gets broken out by Metallo. And it was just so funny because, like, again, at this point, I was with Kara in terms of like, I suspected that Lena was the victim. I thought it was going to be very similar to the situation with, oh, what's her name? Uh, a couple weeks ago.
Oh,
The
live wire.
Livewire. I thought it was going to be similar to that. Yeah, like everybody's thinking that she's the bad guy when actually she's innocent. So the minute Metallo showed up, I was like, oh, this is not going to help her case. I was like, this is not going to work out for her
And
at
she even
all.
says it a few scenes later. She's like, it don't matter. Well, her mom says, it don't matter if you go back. They gonna think you did it.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, because of your dumb ass. What you did.
Yeah. Again, I do understand why you were annoyed though, because we go from like this like super devastating thing about Lena to like like Kara's like super devastated and like I can't believe all this like Lena stuff, and then she immediately goes into that scene with Eve, and it's
Yeah.
like, wait, how do we get from you being a devastated friend to you caring
Oh,
about who
we're
Mon
on
El is fucking? Yeah, I was just like,
it.
it. I think it was more like the way they paced and juxtaposed those scenes could have been better, because it does feel like it almost feels like, to distract herself from the Lena stuff, she starts like fixating on the Mon El stuff. But it's like, how do you go from what, like, how does your brain switch from one to the other so quickly? Like, I couldn't even be thinking about Mon El if I'm like so upset about my best friend, you
The
know.
only the only way that works for me is if she doesn't go and talk to Eve, which
Hmm.
I love that they gave that I forget. I think her last name is Brooks. I love that they gave that actress a chance to show her depth because
Hmm.
before they had her kind of playing an airhead.
Yeah. And also, like, they used her in that scene the other week in The Flash
Yeah.
where
She's like like,
jumping through worlds.
and she's like, there's too much shit going on in the
Yeah.
city. I'm about to move.
Yeah. So like
Like,
they've been
yes, girl.
using her, but like not, like not really using her. Like she's just kind of a plot device. So it was nice to see her like get to act.
Yes. But I could even see if she asked, if she had gone to Eve to figure out where Monel was in that moment, and
Hmm.
would even ask Monel to help her try to prove her friend's innocence.
Yeah.
Because she already knows from earlier in the episode that Monel trusts her version of events.
Hmm.
I it would have changed the whole tenor of this episode for me. That
Yeah.
was the
That.
thing.
Yeah. It like you could have juxtaposed that with like her being like, okay, nobody else is believing me. Maybe Monel would believe in me. Oh, hey, here's Eve who is dating Monel. Hey, have you spoken to him recently? I think like I need his help with something. And
Yes.
then it goes into like actually we haven't spoken because I'm not dating him because he was too busy talking about you. That's very different from like, hey, so like let me chat you up about Monel, blah blah blah, like yeah. See, this is again,
I'm
hire
not a
me
writer either,
guys.
but
I
I
can
can
be a
help you with a
script doctor.
continuity.
Exactly, like
Like, I'm
you
not even that, but I'm willing to help
yeah.
in terms of as an audience, as a consumer, what will help you reach me.
It's like I'm just over here like, hey guys, so remember how we just recently lost one of the best script doctors in the world? I'm just over here waiting. Like, call me CW. Because there's a lot of things. Sometimes what I find with these inconsistencies with all of these like CW superhero shows, it's like a slight tweak. Like if you'd have just slightly different. It's like that whole thing on The Flash when like Iris was all like, I want to make my mark. And then Barry was like, you are the woman I love. And I was like, that's not what she means. Like, it's
And that's
like
not,
tweak that
and
line
Barry,
slightly.
and Barry, who is always in tune with Iris, would never say that knowing that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's like little things like that where it's like, just a little tweak. Like maybe just like if I was just like sitting in the background in the writers' room, I could be like, not not that. Like or like the whole thing like with Kara and Jimmy the other week with the Guardian thing. I was like, this would make so much more sense if in the crossover, like there was a scene with Kara finding out about Laurel dying. That would just like bring the whole thing together, like little
Mm-hmm.
things like that, like thinking a little bit farther out and like seeding those things a little bit earlier. Like I feel like they do a good job of like seeding big things to like bring in a new character or bring in like something from the comics, but I think they sometimes just like miss like little character things that can like switch the whole dynamic.
I wonder if they're afraid that if they write a serious, focused Kara, because you can have a serious, focused Kara and not lose who Kara is supposed to be, I
Hmm.
feel. But I'm wondering if they are afraid of losing their demographic, which doesn't make sense to me. But then I'm not 18 to 25, so, or 18 to 35, so maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I think it goes back to that thing like the whole thing about them wanting them equating like quirky or young girl kind of thing with like flighty.
Yeah.
Those are not necessarily the same thing. um so then lena Lena and Lillian have like this whole like moment when they're like driving to like apparently Lex has all these bunkers all over the world where he was like stockpiling weapons against aliens so that he could take out Clark one day. I was like, dang it, for somebody who used to be Clark's best friend.
He took it to a whole
Yeah,
nother level.
he's like, we are not friends anymore, and let me show you the bunker full of weapons to use
In case you
against
didn't
you.
get the memo.
So like the two of them are riding in this car that Metallo is driving, which by the way, I do have to give it up to Metallo because like he is ride or die for this like anti-alien movement. He's like, listen to your mother. She's a genius. She knows everything. She's the only one who understands the cause. I was like,
He was like that in court too. I'm like, I don't know that this is gonna help come parole time, sir. This is not how you get parole. I'm just gonna point that
like
out.
I mean, he was just like, I like, that's how you knew he was about to attack everybody because he was going off. He was like, and let me tell you about why aliens are horrible. And I was like, oh my God, sir, take it down a notch. You are in a courtroom. Like, so yeah,
That poor prosecutor. She's like, I didn't sign up to be vaporized. The hell is this?
I gave that prosecutor some props though, because she knew she was dealing with the crazy. She was like, "Do I have permission to treat him as a hostile witness?" Like it felt like a real courtroom drama, considering the crazy things that people were saying. It's like this feels like a real courtroom drama. This feels like Law and Order National City right now.
Hmm.
Which I would totally watch Law and Order National City, by the way. So they're having this like whole like intense conversation, and like Lillian's all like, I always loved you, but Lionel wanted me to stay away from you, but at the same time he didn't want to be close to you because of the guilt that he felt about your mom and like all this other stuff, and then she goes like, we can finally be the mother and daughter that we should have been without all these Luthor men in our way. I was like, wow, she's really going for it. It's like the best evil girl power speech ever. So they do this whole thing, and then they get to the bunker, and she's like, so yeah, I'm gonna need you to touch this keypad because only a Luthor can open it. And
And Lee
Lena,
was like, that's why you broke me out. You don't love me.
it was the best because like, she gave this whole speech and you could see Lena cracking for it. Like, Lena was just like, because she has wanted a mother and wanted her mother to appreciate her and all this other stuff. So you can see her like thawing to, to Lillian and everything. And I was like, Lillian is so ain't shit that she could
Right.
not let this ride for more than like I swear it was about 20 minutes between the time she gave Lena that speech and then revealed that like she just wanted something from her. I was like, she couldn't even let that shit ride for a couple of days. She's like, okay, so now what I'm gonna need you to do is touch this keypad, and hell yeah, I said all that stuff just to get you on my side. But you still gonna touch this keypad.
At which point Hank shows up like, flat out, don't make me hurt you. He's
Okay,
like,
and so
I don't want to hurt you. I didn't say I wouldn't.
this was the thing where I was like, okay, so I see that white Martian CGI really cut into your budget. Hank was wearing some aluminum foil over the side of his face. I was like, how dare y'all do that to David Harewood?
They
How
didn't
dare
they didn't
you?
clean it up in post at all.
At all. Like, because I feel like last time we saw him, it was kind of like where you could see the metal, but it was like through his skin.
It
So it
was
was like,
fused,
yeah,
yeah.
so like like his skin was like molded to the metal. This literally, like, you could see the flap of the under metal. It literally looked like somebody like took a piece of aluminum foil and was like crinkle, crinkle, crinkle on the side of David Harewood's face.
They
I
made up a Halloween costume.
I was so embarrassed for him. I was like, how dare you do that? Yeah, I feel like it was somebody's job to like clean it up in post and add some like layer some effects over it so that it looked like more fused and all this other stuff. And somewhere along the way, like it was like, oh, that was Mark's job, and like somebody forgot that Mark was out sick for 2 days, and nobody picked up the slack, and then it was time to like send it over to the CW, and somebody was just like, "Oh, I guess we just didn't have time for that this week." So bad. I felt so bad for him. Um, so then they when they does his like whatever technology, and realizes that that the video of Lena stealing the kryptonite was altered. And so what ends up happening is that then Supergirl like rushes to find. Oh, how is it that they're able to track the bag kryptonite? I was like, how did they all of a sudden know where they were?
They're able to track kryptonite signatures, period,
Okay.
bad or good. It's just as they were tracking it, they noticed they noticed that it was degrading at a accelerated rate. But they're able to track the kryptonite signatures all over, which is why that's why I threw them off. It was like, wait, how did Clark took all that? So how the hell did Lena wind up with some?
Yeah. And that was when they realized that like it had to be manufactured because Clark took all the good stuff.
Well, the real stuff. I
The
don't
real
know.
stuff, yeah, the real
Yeah.
stuff. that good kryptonite.
Sound like a crack addict.
So yeah, so like so they know where Lena and them are. Supergirl shows up all like, Kara sent me. She still believes in you, Lena.
Sorry.
It was so cheesy good. So yeah, so they have that whole the big fight with Metallo. Metallo doesn't want to believe them when they're like, hey, mind you, this is what got me. And maybe I don't know. This it's just I mean, obviously this is a thing that exists because that's why you have Trump supporters. But but I'm just like, you literally like before Supergirl came and said like this kryptonite is hurting you, we saw him see like his arm, like the red, not the red, the green like light was like glowing through his arms or
It
whatever.
was in his veins.
Yeah, in his
It was in his
veins,
bloodstream.
like
Yeah.
he knew something was wrong. And then Supergirl shows up and he's like, and she's like, so that stuff is bad. It's actually hurting you. You should take it out of your chest. And are you well, again, this must be a thing because that's why we have Trump supporters. So somebody is telling you, you know already that something is not right, and somebody is telling you this thing is hurting you, but because you hate that person so much, you don't want to believe them, even though
Yeah.
you already know.
Yeah. He's ride or die for the cause.
Okay, yeah. So that's how we get Trump supporters, you guys.
I can never be that ride or die. That's just me.
Yeah, I'm like, you knew something was wrong, and then somebody confirms that something is wrong, but because you hate that person, you're like, nah.
Basically, yeah.
All right, okay, all right. This is how people vote against their own best interests. All right.
It's also why I can never be a part of an extremist group. I'm
Yeah,
like,
I'm like that
yeah,
sounds
you gotta
wrong.
go. I need you to go blow yourself up, and I'm out.
So
Thank you
two
for
things
no
we
thank
we
you.
can't do: jail, extremist groups. Can't do it. So yeah, so they have the whole big fight. Metallo ends up blowing himself to bits because he doesn't want to believe Kara. And then
Now,
they try to have that moment where they make you think that Kara might not have gotten out alive.
and John comes in to save the day
Yeah.
because Kara runs off, without well, she's thinking, but she's like, I don't have time because Alex is like, well, do we have time to fix the suit? And all I could think was like, I know that the Clark took the kryptonite, but Kara and everyone is aware of multiple Earths. And we know that Kara has a vortex manipulator that lets oh, I'm sorry, that's a Doctor Who reference, sorry. But we know that um, Kara has a breach transponder, whatever the hell you want to call it, that
Mm-hmm.
allows her to travel, which means technically people could come here with their kryptonite. Why didn't y'all fix that suit, let's say 9 episodes ago?
I I mean, I don't know. I like as somebody who generally drops the ball at work, I can't be that mad. Things happen. You get caught up in another project. It's like,
No, dog, no. This is life or death. No, no, no.
Also, yeah, the thing too about the whole Metallo blowing up and them trying to convince us that like Kara was hurt. The thing that really frustrated me about it was one of those moments where like it's like they're trying to heighten the tension, so like the camera is zooming in on her and you know the camera is zooming in on him about to blow up and zooming in on her and zooming in on him and and I'm like she could have been flown out of there like at least twice by now. like like she was like acting like she couldn't just pick up Lena and fly away in a
And
second.
honestly, I think John grabbed Lena quite
Yeah,
as a step.
because I was like Lena. I was like you. I'm like I distinctly remember you picking up Jimmy. Like again, I was like maybe the budget is not. I was like I don't know if this is like a they're trying to like heighten tension or the budget just wasn't there this week and they were like okay so instead of like you know, CGIing, wiring them both up. Let's just like heighten the tension instead by. I was like, she could have been flown out of there. She could have been picked up Lena and flew the hell out of there. Why are we doing this? So the two of them are BFF again, and you know, and Lena's all like, you know, Supergirl saved me, but you're the real hero, Kara, for believing in me, and all this other stuff. And by
They're
the
the same person. No glasses
yeah,
ain't
so
fooling
that's the other
nobody.
thing too. When Jimmy mentioned Clark and Lex being best friends, I was kind of like, so that means that Lena probably has interacted somewhat with Clark,
Hmm.
and I don't know if, like, I don't know how close it looked in the flashback, like Lex and Lena were pretty close. So I was like, I think Lex would tell Lena about Clark being Superman. I don't know in this universe if Lex knows that, but I think if they were best friends, he knows that. So I was just kind of like, Lena must know. If she doesn't know that Clark and Kara are cousins, she knows that, you know, Supergirl and Superman have alternate identities. Again, those glasses are not fooling anyone.
They didn't fool Maggie.
Yeah, so I'm just you know, so especially when it's revealed in the end, so you know, like the it ends with or it doesn't end, but like the final Lena thing is you see a flashback to her beating Lex at chess.
Hmm.
And then you see Lena like evilly looking over a chessboard. So it's like you realize like, you know, she's out here playing chess and there's more going on to this story than Kara thinks.
Hmm.
And I'm like, Lena has to know. Like, Lena has to know who Kara really is.
I feel like she does.
Yeah. Like, I'm like, Lena's too smart. Like, she has to know. Like, so I'm waiting for that to come out, and I'm waiting to see how she's going to use that information to, you know, take down Supergirl. But I do honestly believe that Lena was not working with her mother. I think
Oh
Lena has her
no,
own plan.
absolutely. I agree. She wasn't working with her mom,
Yeah.
but
Like, I think she was literally like looking at her mom like, you dumb bitch with your simple ass Project MacGuffin ass plan, please. I think Lena was like even looking at her mom like, ma'am, you are over here playing checkers. Please stop. like
let me show you how it's really
yeah,
done.
like I'm gonna let you do all this. I'm gonna maintain my innocence throughout, and I'm gonna keep it pushing because I have a bigger plan in motion.
Huge, bigly plant. No I'm kidding. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be huge. It's gonna be huge. It's gonna be like it's gonna be the
Huge.
biggest
It's gonna be
plan. It's
huge.
gonna
It's
be
gonna
the
be
better
great. The
plan.
best thing. It's the very
Best
best,
plan.
the greatest thing.
Like
Everyone's gonna be very, very
people haven't
happy.
seen plans like this before. These
Just like my electoral college win, how it was the biggest thing ever.
yeah.
And people, I'm telling you right
It's
now,
gonna
people
be
are gonna
like
be very,
my
very happy.
inauguration. It's gonna be the biggest inauguration that has ever been. It's gonna be the biggest plan that has ever been.
Okay, you know what? Now I feel dirty. Let's stop. I really feel dirty right now.
Best. Um. So that's the little stinger and that's the little end for Kara and Lena. again, Kara refuses to apologize to the black man, Jimmy, which continues to annoy me. And then we have the stinger, which is Kara finally like admitting to Mon El that she likes him and da da da, and they're all like super close, and she's like taking off her glasses because you know that means it's about to go down when the glasses come off, and and then all of a sudden, after no out of nowhere, you're gonna have to say this.
Mr. Mitchell Pitt. I used to know how to say this. Mr. Mitchell Pitt. Ah, shit. Mr. Mitchell Pitt. I keep getting caught.
That guy who I looked up on Wikipedia after I watched the
Mixel
episode.
Pitlick. Mr. Mixel. Oh, I used to know how to say his name. You have to get him to say his own name to get rid of him. He's
Yeah.
played by Peter Gadio, who is on Queen of the South, actually.
Oh, okay. He shows up and he says that he's in love with Kara.
Oh, and I don't know if you saw the trailer for next week, but I'm
Oh
looking
yeah.
forward to next week
Oh
because it's
no,
going to
it
be
looks
funny.
so funny. The thing that's a little bit annoying to me, and I feel the same way about this that I felt about the Legends of Tomorrow episode. I kind of feel like it's a little misplaced. Like I kind of feel like they meant it to be this week because next week basically looks like a Valentine's Day episode.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm also upset with the Flash for not having, like, you have the opportunity to have a Valentine's Day episode on Valentine's Day. You have one of the best couples right now on television. You telling me the Flash couldn't like time that right and have a Valentine's Day episode? That was really frustrating for me. So next week, apparently, we're getting our belated Valentine's Day episode of Supergirl. Um, where the pictures of I really like how they've cast this because the pictures of the of what Mr. Mixtelpick
It's a piglet.
Miss Mixtelpick looks like are like usually he's this like tiny like kind of like he looks kind of like almost like Dobby the house elf from Harry Potter. This guy does not look like that. I'm very excited to see
No,
what this is going to be
he is.
like.
He's hot.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, apparently he's like some imp from a different dimension, very similar to like a Puck type of a character, who comes and kind of wreaks havoc. And the only way to get rid of him is to say his name.
No, it's to get him to say his name.
Get him to say his name. And he I saw like lots of different versions. They said like some said like he gets banished and he can't come back for 90 days. Some like say like he gets banished forever. So it looks like it's gonna be a really fun, cute kind of an episode. With you know him getting in the way of like now that Kara's like kind of moving on with Mon El, like him getting in the way of that.
Yeah.
I also wonder how Jimmy will react to like another dude like another dude coming after Kara. That should be interesting. Since they're besties again. Mm-hmm.
So we do
So,
have feedback this week.
yay!
So I have the Facebook one up. I don't know if you got anything through Twitter.
I did not. I checked
Okay.
my.
So Joseph asks, "Hey Joseph." Joseph and I kind of live watch it in another group together. So it's usually just him and me, and then Kate comes through when she watches it. Although this week Sarah joined us, and it was hilarious. But he said he's really annoyed by the excessive and unnecessary melodrama this show loves to throw in to fill their CW quota. But the episode itself was fun.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of the issue I had with it too. It was like you can move this relationship forward without it feeling like a teenage soap opera. And I don't think they did a good job with that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Justin just asked, was that Kara? Because I used a picture of them about to kiss. Sherrod B says, I thought this would go to the season finale. He's probably talking about the back and forth between Mon El and Kara. And he said, Kara's going to mess this up. I would bet on it. You are probably right.
Yeah. I mean, again, I don't think. I I didn't. think Mon El would be around this long, but I also don't think he's going to be around past this season. Oh, speaking of Chris Wood, Vampire Diaries is in its last season. He used to be on Vampire Diaries, and he just showed up last week on Vampire Diaries at the end of the episode. So I think he's going to be in this week's episode of Vampire Diaries. For
Okay.
those of you who are Chris Wood fans of Dem Arms, check it out. It should be a good episode. He was like played a really awesome villain on that show. So I'm really excited for him to come back and wreak havoc. Except he was kind of horrible to Bonnie's character. Bonnie is the black girl witch on that show. And they I I mean, I think part of it is because Kat Graham is such a good actress, but also it's like they put her character through so much pain and she just like suffered a major loss. And I was like, when I saw Chris Wood come back, I was like, oh, he's just going to terrorize the hell out of her. She doesn't need this right now. So we'll see. But that should be a really good episode this week of Vampire Diaries if anybody is interested in watching that.
So Michael's left three pieces. So I'm going to jump to Justin J. Hey, Justin. And then I'll come back to Michael's three. Justin said season 3 is going to be everyone reading Kara the way they read Barry after Flashpoint. Except the difference is Barry absorbs it and tries to adjust accordingly. And Kara's just going to be running around, pushing her chest out, ripping her shirt open like, no, I'm right. I'm
No,
not apologizing for a damn thing.
what I want to see is like that episode of How to Get Away with Murder where they sat Annalise down in that chair and everybody just told her off. I want that. I want Kara sitting in a chair and everybody being like, and then that one time, and then that other time, and then this one time. That's what I want. I want everybody going in. That's
And
what,
then remember when this
yeah,
and this. One
exactly.
thing we didn't talk about that I loved was when they were all together at the Cheers bar. And I didn't realize, you know what? I don't know. It completely went over my head that Wynn and James did not know that Maggie and Alex was dating.
No, I refuse. I was like, they don't know Alex is dating Maggie Houseway. No,
It was cute though
no,
because
no, I
Max,
refuse.
well, it was cute though because when she introduced him, James was like, oh, that's cool. And Wynn's like, okay, whatever. And Monel was like, well, why is that a thing on your earth?
Yeah, no,
He's like, he's like, where I'm from, the more the merrier.
I like that John was like, I'm a mind reader, so I knew this for a while.
And
But
he said it like, dumbass, I'm psychic. Of course I knew.
but so the whole thing at the dinner where she didn't get to tell because Barry and Cisco interrupted with their portal was that she had a secret, he had his guardian secret, and she was going to tell her secret because her secret was more important. So I thought they knew that she was gay.
No, apparently not.
And then also, so no, these are all my reasons why I think it's ridiculous that we
Oh,
opened with
okay.
that. And then also, she's been like Wynn works at the DEO and her and Kara have been talking about like, oh, you seem so happy and you're dating and da da da. I think for me it wasn't so much that they didn't know that she was dating Maggie because I could kind of understand if they don't know that she's dating Maggie, but the fact that they thought it was a guy, that they were using very specific gendered things, and I
Pronouns.
thought they would, even if they didn't realize that she was dating Maggie, I thought that by now everybody knew she was gay.
Nope.
Like, so it was just like, I was like, really? Are we doing this? Like, we're doing a whole thing where they're all like, can't wait to meet the dude and ha 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 ha. He'll like, I hope he'll fit in with the group and like, I was just like, really,
It felt
guys?
misplaced in this episode. This is something that probably should have happened earlier in the season.
Yeah, it was just weird. And then like, yeah, I'm like, how many times have they all been hanging out at the Cheers bar, at the Alien Cheers, and
Mhm.
like hanging out with her and Maggie? Like, weren't her and Maggie on a date at the Cheers bar?
Yes, they were. Oh my God, you're right.
That's okay. So I literally was like in my notes, I was like, Houseway, like, how do they not know? Like, this is ridiculous. I like the Cheers bar openings, and I get wanting to have like kind of like a fun, cute, poppy, you know, everything is happy kind of a opening. But I was like, really, is this what we're doing? Because
That goes back to one of my chief complaints about this, this show is that, and it's happening across all of the shows. Like Deepalm and Chris have been talking about it with Arrow and Legends. There are just continuity pieces. I love that you're giving these writers a chance, but then you have to insist and demand that they research the character, that they research what's been going on, and that the continuity continues. And I feel like they've been dropping the ball a lot with that this season.
and that's why, but what you're supposed to really have is you number one, you have like a Bible, and number two, you have like somebody in the writer's room whose job it is to hold that information.
Hmm.
That person knows, like, so when they like, oh no, I mean, like, I think Grey's has this, which you have to have because that show has been on for 13 seasons. So like you have to have somebody to be, oh no, in like season 6 episode 14, Alex did X, Y, and Z, and so he wouldn't do this now in season
Right.
13. Like, like, so yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. Again, sometimes maybe that person is supposed to be Berlanti and he's stretched too thin. I mean, obviously not Berlanti. Berlanti is overseeing things, but I'm like, each writer's room should have that person who has that knowledge, like either in their brain or somewhere where they can access it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Michael T, hey Michael, he hits us up on Twitter like, first he says, I'm tired, I'm tired of seeing everyone give Kara a pass. Everyone. I love Melissa Benoist, but this show would make tons more sense if the character were 18 or 19 rather than 25 or 26. And someone wrote, or if they wrote her, Joe said, or if they wrote her as an adult, to which Michael said, I feel like 95% of the show doesn't exist if Kara is treated or acts like an adult. I don't know that I agree with that. It would just require different writing choices. Like we'd have to pretend that season 1 pretty much didn't happen and start fresh with season 2. Or you pretend in season 1 that she was like a young 18, 19-year-old intern and that season 2 is a time jump.
It's just frustrating because I feel like the whole conceit, the whole thing that started this season was like Kara is going to be more adult and Kara
Mm-hmm.
is going to learn these lessons and she's like making her way. And that's like 90% of the reason why she broke up with Jimmy was, or didn't start things with Jimmy, was like, I need to, find me and be an adult and all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I still, every single episode is like, she ain't no damn adult. Like, I've just stopped. And also I think I've gotten to a point opposite from you got like where I'm just like I don't expect her to be, so it doesn't bother me as much. Stopped
You shelved that
expecting,
expectation.
yeah, I've stopped expecting her to grow. So I'm just like, oh, I'm cool.
So then he says, based on that final Luthor moment, the show seems to be setting up for the introduction of Checkmate. If that does happen, to distinguish it from Katniss and make it seem like a bigger deal or a threat, it should probably span multiple Earths.
Oh, is there a thing called checkmate?
Yes, and I'm not going to talk about it in case they are seeding
Okay.
that because it would be spoiler. But
Okay.
I agree. I agree. Then Michael says, my friends and I have been having this debate and I'd love to hear your take. Does the Guardian suit have strength enhancements like Alex's suit from last season? Because James has gone toe to toe with folks with super strength and he makes more sense as a possible teammate if he can continue to do that. Plus, I want to see James fight spar with Mon El. I was wondering the same thing this episode because he was holding his own against Corbin, who we assume is his strength is enhanced by the presence of that kryptonite.
I don't think I don't think he is. I just think he's a better fighter than people thought. But also, I don't know how strength enhanced Corbin is. Um, I think Corbin before got he was like a what was the word? He was like a mercenary
Mm-hmm.
before he got the kryptonite put in. I just think he is also like a. I think he's a human with enhanced abilities because of the kryptonite. And I think he was just a good fighter pre that
Mm.
because of what his job was. I'm trying to think, like the only other people we've really seen him go up against are the live wire people. And again, I don't know if they
Clark. He fought Clark.
Who? Jimmy?
No. Oh, I'm sorry, Corbin, because I thought you were still
Yeah.
talking about Corbin, because
No.
we saw Corbin and Clark go toe to toe while
Yeah. That is true.
Lord forgive me for what I'm about to say. While Kara took on Asian red shirt number 5 because they didn't. I
Yeah.
don't think they gave that poor. He was a doctor working at
Yeah.
Cadmus that got voluntold he was about to become an experiment.
That is true. I don't know if having the not as good kryptonite made him not the same strength that he was when he fought Clark.
Mm,
But like Jimmy, the only other people we've seen Jimmy fight are the live wire people. And again, I think it was that they were just regular human strength with enhanced abilities.
yeah.
So I don't know. I don't think because Alex's suit that she used to fight that gave her like enhanced strength, that it was like almost like it was almost like a robot exoskeleton kind of thing. It was like it made sounds when it moved.
And it was based on Kryptonian technology.
Yeah, it had like that like
Astra made that
yeah.
suit.
It had
No,
like
not
a
Astra. Non
yeah.
made that suit.
It had like a whirring sound, like when she would move. It felt very
Hmm.
bulky, and I don't think Jimmy has on anything that's bulky. I think his suit is more of a protective kind of a thing. And
Plus, we just
I think the
discovered,
shield is obviously like made of
yeah,
something
and it's
enhanced. Yeah,
enhanced.
yeah.
But plus, we just learned, what was it, last episode or episode before that, that Wynn didn't even bother to make it bulletproof. So I
Yeah.
doubt. So I retracted. Yeah, maybe it's not an enhanced suit.
Yeah.
So that was it for the feedback on Facebook. Let me check one more place to make sure I caught everything. Um, what would you rate this?
Um, I would probably give it A minus at the least. I'm telling you, it just it doesn't. I don't think these things bother me as much. And because I love Mon El, I love the writing for him. I really enjoyed those scenes. Like I was like, oh, like when I was putting together my notes, I was like, we'll start with the thing that I really enjoyed, Mon El and his scenes.
I have to give it a B minus. It just it was easy. I thought the episode. Well, I gave the other one a C, didn't I? So it's not the weakest episode of the season, but it's down there. So that averages to a B, which is fine. That still looks strong grade. I was disappointed. Normally I write the review Tuesdays because I've had a chance to watch it twice. I didn't want to watch it. I just finished the review 5 minutes before we started recording. I just was like, I've never, even last season when stuff was pissing me off, I've never not wanted to write about this. And this week
Hmm.
I did not want to write about this because I was
Yeah.
that disappointed. So,
Oh, it didn't bother me that much. The stuff that like really bothered me was the visuals. Like I couldn't believe they put David Harewood in that like crinkled up aluminum foil mask. It
great
literally looked like
value.
when you're like this is gonna sound so bad when your parents can't afford a Halloween costume and you like start looking around the kitchen like how am I gonna put this together?
I can't even call it great value. It was really more Dollar Tree, if I'm
Yeah.
honest
I was
about
just
it.
like, Lord, they put this. It looked like somebody went to the store and like they're already selling like Justice League cyborg masks and they grabbed one off the shelf. Like, it's like, Lord, why they do Hank like this? Like, why they do this man like this? Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Or like either somebody was out, or I feel like it's one of those situations again where like the CW does not respect these black, like these black men in these roles because like first you got Mag Negro, then you got Hank over here looking a mess. Y'all when y'all start skimping, I know where y'all go to first. The black man. It's just that's not okay.
Cool.
Well, next week I did not look. I like as I'm about to say it, I'm like I did not look up what it's Mr.
Hey,
Pick. We just talked about it.
Mr. Fix. Okay, you
Mr.
know what? God damn it. I used to know how to say that. I'm going to get this right. Mix.
He said it so good and so well. I was like, I don't even know what that is, but I was like, you said that word really well. So next week,
Mixopitlick. Mixopitlick. I knew I had to say it. Mixopitlick.
yeah. So next week he will be here. It'll be our belated Valentine's Day episode. I'm actually really excited for it to just be like kind of fun and silly, not anything serious. So I'm excited. And then the week after that is I don't want to, I'm not going to spoil, but the week after that, we are going to be coming back to Project Cadmus. So I'm really excited for that episode as well.
Me too.
It's called Homecoming. So we will see you next week. Thank you for the feedback and questions, and
Keep them coming. We
keep it
love this.
coming. Yeah. I didn't put up a Facebook post this week just because I had a lot going on. But feel free to like either email me. It's Shanna SHANNA at mtrnetwork.net, and then on Twitter I will try and like post something so that people can respond back to it. It's a little bit easier if it's like in one thread, and yeah, and or just like right on the Facebook wall or whatever
So what
on
I
a
did
personal
this
site.
week was because I was so disturbed by the ending, I had taken one of the screenshots that I was going to use for my write-up and I posted it in our group. So not on
Hmm.
the public page, but in our group. So I'll try to remember to do that too as a backup.
Yeah.
Because usually I take your post you put on the main page and share it in the group as a reminder for folks.
Oh, okay. So yeah, there's lots of ways to get in touch with us, interact with us. We're
Hmm.
here. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.